Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Black Soul Music Experience Podcast. I'm your DJ and host, Sam Wilson Jr., and I'm here to bring you the history genre of black music: gospel, jazz, blues, old school classic soul, old school hip hop, today's hip hop and R&B, Caribbean, Latin, Afrobeat, Afro-Latina, blue-eyed soul, disco, go-go, line dances, and the Lost 45s. So come with me as I take you on to a trip to the history genre destination of black music. Right now on the Black Soul Music Experience Podcast. Welcome to the Black Soul Music Experience. I'm Sam Wilson Jr., and I have a special guest on my show, and we are celebrating Mother's Day, and it's a Mother's Day episode. And this lady that I'm about to introduce is a singer, songwriter, and co-founder of her band called Beyond Destiny, a band that sings and plays all music genres: rock, soul, R&B, country, and contemporary Christian music, and it was founded back in 2004 in the state of Texas. She and her band opened for country and rock artists, including John Michael Montgomery, Coffee Anderson, and many others. The band was nominated for an IZA Award for Entertainer of the Year, Songwriter of the Year, and Best Band Single. Their current single, Wanted, is now available streaming on iTunes, and their new album is dropping this summer. Please help me welcome to the Black Soul Music Experience Podcast, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Nikki Heath. Hi, Nikki. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing, Sam? Thanks for having me.
And you welcome. Welcome to our podcast. It is a pleasure to have you here. And as always, we get these technical difficulties from Riverside because they always pop up unexpectedly. But at the same time, thank you for your response. When I posted something on Alignable, it is always a pleasure to have you here on my show.
Thank you for having me. I was like, yeah, he's out of New York. And they were like, one of my really good friends, she's from New York originally. Now she lives in Florida.
Oh, okay. Well, when we get a chance, you tell that person all around town, let them know that you just been interviewed by Sam Wilson Jr., host of the Black Soul Music Experience podcast, and I'm on all 7 platforms: on Apple, Spotify, Google, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Pocket Cast, and Patreon, and on YouTube. So it's always a pleasure. Okay, so as we always say, America doesn't know who you are. The world doesn't know who you are, but we always like to get to know you, and I'm trying to reach out to some of the independent artists. So let us begin, shall we? Now, where were you born?
I was actually born in Sweetwater, Texas. It's in West Texas. It's about a medium-sized town, um, and it's a pretty great place to grow up.
Were your parents in the music industry, or did they had 9 to 5 day jobs?
They had 9 to 5 day jobs. My mom was in MHMR. She was a supervisor, and then my dad, he was in the military. And then later on, when he got out of the military, he was a prison guard.
Which high school did you go to?
Sweetwater High School, home of the Mustang.
And which college did you go to?
I went to Texas Tech University in Lubbock, Texas. Went to Texas Tech University in Lubbock. I got a full basketball scholarship, full ride. I played basketball at Texas Tech under Hall of Fame coach Marcia Sharp. Was part of some great, amazing teams there. And I also obviously have a background in music as well. But athletic and sports were pretty big in my family as well.
And what was your major in college?
My major was exercise and sports science, and then my minor was English.
And who did you want to be when you grow up?
Well, actually, from the time I was in middle school, I had some pretty great coaches. You know, I did everything: volleyball, basketball, track. I was in choir, and so I had some great coaches in middle school and high school. And I always wanted to be a coach and teacher. I had some phenomenal teachers in Sweetwater High School as well, and so I knew that I wanted to be a coach and a teacher.
How old were you when you started singing and playing the instruments?
Well, I started playing piano when I was about 5, and then I wrote my first song when I was 6. And
What?
my mom and grandmother, they were both actually, they were surprised. They realized I had some talent, not only in athletics, but in music, because when I wrote my first song at 6, they were very surprised about it.
Was being a singer and songwriter and musician your calling?
Oh, most definitely. I mean, I knew that I wanted to, play. I knew that I wanted to play basketball in college, but I also knew that God had given me a gift in music, and so I knew I wanted to do music also as well.
Now, growing up, who were some of your favorite singers?
Oh man, that's a good one. Tina Turner, Aretha Franklin, Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston, Boyz II Men. Those are probably like my favorites.
And who were your musical influences that had inspired you to sing?
Tina Turner, the Judds. To me, that they were the Judds are great. They're country, but they have soul in their country. Um, my I grew up singing in the church. So since the time I was little bitty, I sang in church. I was in middle school choir. I was in high school choir. I was in show choir. I was in a group. My choir teacher selected the 12 best singers, entertainers, and called the Pop Sensations. And we went and we toured all over Texas performing. So it was something that I definitely knew that I loved doing, and God had given me a love for it and a gift for it. So I knew I wanted to do it for sure.
Now, how did you came up with the band Beyond Destiny, and how many years was the band was in existence?
Okay, so in 2004, I was coaching and teaching in Sterling City, which is right outside of San Angelo. It's a school in Texas, Sterling City, Texas, and I was the head girls basketball coach. And I met the tennis coach who was a drummer, and then my keyboard player at the keyboard player was Matt. He was the band director there. That's actually how we all met. We were all coaching and teaching at the same high school, and he heard my solo album that I'd done right after college, and he was like, "Oh, you sing and play. This is really cool. You should just come over and jam." And so we went over to his house and we were jamming, and then we decided, we really want to do something with this. Let's like start setting up some shows and performing. And we said, well, we got to come up with the name. So probably a couple of days later, I thought that I came up with the name Beyond Destiny. The name stems from one. Some people believe that it's fate or that everything is mapped out for you. Well, I don't agree. I don't agree with that. I think that our decisions are what make our life, either good or bad. The decisions that you make can determine your fate, determine your destiny. So I've always believed that it is beyond destiny, that it's all about our decisions. So that's where it came from.
Now, you and your band sings different genres of music. As I mentioned, you play rock, soul, R&B, country, and contemporary Christian music. How does your voice fits all of those genres?
It actually fits pretty well. Because like I said, I grew up singing in the church. So you already know if you can sing in church and if you can sing a cappella, you can pretty much sing anything. And so I grew up singing like that. And so my my first album that I put out was actually contemporary Christian. And then when I met Matt and Kevin, I started writing, more on the rock side, and then that's when we put out our first album, and then this second album is more rock slash we're going to add a little bit of country in there, and we've always called ourselves rock and soul. So my voice fits pretty much all the genres and I've written everything. I've written rock, soul, country, R&B, contemporary Christian gospel. I just write what comes to me. I never really put it in any genre until my manager says that pretty much we do like Americana because it's a mix of so many different things that she calls it Americana because it's rock, it's soul, there's some country in there, and so my goal is to not limit myself. So whatever I write is what I write.
Now, you and your band has opened for many country and rock artists that I've just mentioned. What was it like being on the stage warming up the audience for the main artist?
It was a lot of fun. We our shows are very energetic, and the crowd gets involved. They start singing along. They start dancing. So we really put on a great show. So when we open up for those acts, they really love us because it really gets the crowd into the music. And then when the headliner comes on, the crowd, they're ready. They're ready to hear the more great music. They're pumped. They're excited. So it's so much fun, and we always try to put on a great show.
And while you're not singing with the band or not on tour with the band, you're an A&R executive for Instra Music Solutions. Did you found the record company or was it someone else?
Well, my first album was released through an independent label called Thrill Joy Records, and my independent label kicked this music. So then when I moved to the Metroplex, I guess about 4 or 5 years ago, I got signed to a management deal through Instrument Solutions, who's a management company as well as. So then my independent label became they became an umbrella for my independent label. So it was released. So this next album is released through my independent label actually, and Instrument Solutions is the umbrella for my label as well as I'm the AR because when they signed me, they signed me a management deal slash independent label deal, and so I knew that. But they also knew that I had a great background in music, and I understood the music industry, and I understand the music business. So they were booking me shows, but I was booking shows just as fast as they were. So they were like, you know what? We're going to hire her to help us find talent, and so that's how it even came about. Is that I ended up helping them find talent, and I became an AR executive because I could help them find the kind of talent that they were looking for their roster.
Now, how many artists do you have on the roster, whether it's your record label or Instra Music Solutions?
Right. Currently, we have 21 artists that we work with. So there's about 21 artists, and we're currently adding more as we speak.
And what's the format of your record label? Is it the same genre, rock, soul, R&B, country, gospel, or all of the above?
All of the above. Like we literally because it's expanding. Like we want to sign all genres. We're not going to limit ourselves, and I mean eventually we're even going to sign some rap artists. So we definitely not going to limit ourselves.
Let's talk about your album that you released back in 2003, and your album is called This Is Me, which is a gospel LP. Talk about your gospel LP that came out in 2003.
Yeah, so I released a solo album called This Is the Time, and it had, of course, all original tracks that I wrote and that I produced, and it did really well. People loved it. People knew that my faith has always been forefront in my life and forefront in my music. So I knew that I wanted my first album to be contemporary Christian because it's such a huge part of my life. And so when I released it after college, it did really well. It got some great radio play. sold CDs and sold online as well as actual, physical CDs as well, and performed all over the U.S. promoting it and stuff like that. And so it was really an opportunity for me to finally start putting out my music.
Now, since it is a Mother's Day episode, if you were writing a song for Mother's Day, what would it be about?
It would definitely be about my grandmother and my mother. My grandmother has been a huge influence in my life. My grandmother, she was like my mom. My mom Hazel, phenomenal. My grandmother Dorothy Ann, she in Sweetwater, everyone called her Granny, and she was like a grandmother to everyone. If you were hungry, she would feed you. You didn't have to be her child. If you were hungry, she would feed you. If you needed clothes, she would give you clothes, and she was always like that. So, and she passed away years ago, but she has always been a huge influence in my life. So it would definitely be about my grandmother.
Now, speaking of that, let's talk about some of your memories of your mom. And what was some of your memories of not only your mom, but either your grandmother or aunts or great aunts? What was some of your memories of what they have done for you?
Well, my mom was also a pretty phenomenal athlete, and she also, like I said, she didn't have a huge musical background, but she would sing in church sometime, and my grandmother would sing in church sometime. So that growing up, going to church, I would sing and I would hear them singing as well in church. So she was a phenomenal athlete, very talented. My grandmother, the same way, she was a phenomenal athlete. Uh, so many different talents and abilities. And my mom came from, um, there was 10 of them. So she had seven sisters and two brothers. So I had a lot of aunts and uncles. I had a lot of aunts that I looked up to. I had a lot of um, female role models around me growing up, which was amazing. And my grandmother definitely was the forefront. She was the center of our family. So um, they definitely some phenomenal memories. Like I said, she treated she was basically the purest example of God's love was my grandmother. And my mom currently, she of course she still participates in church. She still um, works some with the children's choir, and she still works and helps people, and she still does so many different things to you know always give more than you receive. And my grandma was always a big proponent of volunteering and helping people.
Now, here's a question that I always ask my guests: living or dead, which female artist you wish you want to perform with or to meet with?
Tina Turner for sure. She is my number one. I love Tina Turner. I think she's such a phenomenal talent. Incredible voice, incredible performer, incredible. Like she had the whole package. She not only could she sing, she was a great performer, great dancer. She put on phenomenal shows. So definitely Tina Turner. I would love to have met her.
Okay. Now, here on the Black Soul Music Experience, I always ask my guests who are the top 10 R&B black artists of all time. But since today is a Mother's Day episode, we're about to do the Black Soul Music Experience top 10 Mother's Day songs of all time. Now, here's how it works. We start like a top 10 countdown, like the show, America's Top 10 with Casey Kasem. We start at the bottom five. And then we work up to the top five. We always find out who is the best top 10 songs of all time. I mean, Mother's Day songs. So if that song became a top 10 hit or number one hit on Billboard's soul singles charts, and yes, some of these Mother's Day songs will be playing every day, not just on Mother's Day, but they'll be playing at the clubs too. So, yeah, so I'm going to start off with my top 10, and while I'm doing that, you can start thinking up with yours, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Now, I'm going to start off with number 10 called Treat Your Mother Right by Mr. T. We all know Mr. T from the A Team on NBC. He had an LP out back in 1984 called Mr. T's Commandments. And the name of the song is called Treat Your Mother Right. Now, even though that song didn't become a hit, but doesn't usually play on so many radio stations, but they always start off with the bridges saying, Mother, I always love her, my mother, so treat her right. So he started rapping. Didn't do no singing, just rapping. But anyway, I played it when I was at WVOX when I was doing Mother's Day songs at the top of the hour. So I'll put Treat Your Mother Right by Mr. T at number 10. Number 9 is a gospel song called Mother Bowed by the Pilgrim Travelers. Now, this was a gospel song in honor of Mother's Day. It tells a story about mother who prayed for us when we get to our destination safely and come home safely. She will always pray all day, all night when we get back into the house. So she will always pray for us for safety and protection. So we'll put Mother Bowed by the Pilgrim Travelers at number 9. Number 8, we have Loves Me Like a Rock. So it was sung and written by Paul Simon first in 1972. It didn't become a hit for him, but it became a hit for the Dixie Hummingbirds back in 1973 with their version of Loves Me Like a Rock. It says, When I was a little boy and the devil would call my name, I said, who do you think you're fooling? I'm the consecrated boy singing on the Sunday choir. My mama loves me, she loves me. She got down on my knees and hugs me, and she loves me like a rock. Love that chorus. So that was a top 10 gospel hit for the Dixie Hummingbirds. Even though it didn't become a hit for Paul Simon, but it became a hit for the Dixie Hummingbirds on the same year of 1973. So we'll put Loves Me Like a Rock at number 8. Number 7, No Charge by Pastor Shirley Caesar. Now this tells a story about a mother listening to her son writing something down on how the son can get paid for all his allowance. So he'll say, like, taking out the garbage, 35 cents. Taking care of little sis, 15 cents. And cleaning up the room, 25 cents. So he'll write up a list, and then the mother was singing no charge. So then the mother was trying to tell the son how to be, not to be a son and taking care of the household things, but how to grow up and learn how to be a man and taking care of everything on your own. And it says paid in full. So we will put no charge at number 7. Number 6, Grandma's Hands by the late Bill Withers. Yeah, you love that song. Yep, the late Bill Withers, 2 minutes, and it tells the story about his grandmother who always claps in church, the hands that use for those that are in need and for those who are helping someone. And yes, the hands that are used when mom has to go to work and making sure that babysat the grandchildren. So that's what the hands that were used for. So we'll put Grandma's Hands by the late Bill Withers at number 6. Number 5, I put a tie. Sadie by the Spinners and Better Days by jazz singer Diane Reeves. Now, I had to put that a tie because it talks about grandmothers And the song Sadie, I always think about my late paternal grandmother, Sadie Beatrice Warwick Wilson. And when I was in Maryland and coming from New York, my late mom and I, we went to my paternal grandmother's funeral on May 6, 1983. It was a Mother's Day weekend. And I would never knew that my late paternal grandmother was from Maryland. I thought she was born in New York all this time. So then, after the funeral, we went downstairs for a repast, and this was at her church, Mount Calvary United Methodist Church, in the village of Harlem in New York City, on Edgecombe Avenue and West 140th Street. So, as I said, we went downstairs for a repast, and I was asking my mother, can I go to the burial? And just asking my Aunt Catherine to get me some space to see the burial. And after the burial, I was staying at my cousin's house, whom I was meeting for the very first time. And this was my late grandmother's husband, her first husband from the first marriage, which I would never knew. It was coming from the Middleton and Wilson Dix family that I was staying with. And on that Sunday morning, Mother's Day, in Maryland, they were listening to 89.4 FM WPFW, and they were playing all of the mother songs. So, fast forward to 2014, I had to do something because I was on the men's ministry at my church. I belong to Community Protestant Church in the Bronx, New York, and I'm a church deacon, and I was a member of the men's ministry. So then I came up with the idea. I pitched in. I would do burn all the CDs of all the Mother's Day songs. I would play all of the Mother's Day songs from all genres of black music. So then I burned over 240 CDs like every night and had that ready for Mother's Day to give out. So that was my idea. I pitched in that idea for that thing, and it worked.
That's amazing.
It sure was. It was a lot of hard work, but that was my idea. This was for my late paternal grandmother, so I putting down Sadie by the Spinners. The other song that was a tie was called Better Days by jazz singer Diane Reeves. And once again, this was a story about grandmother who always helped the granddaughter out, braiding her hair, telling stories and everything. So this was a jazz song, even though it was a Mother's Day song. And I'm putting a tie for number 5 with Sadie by the Spinners and Diane Reeves' Better Days at number 5. Number 4, I'm putting down A Mother's Prayer by singer Joseph. That's Josef. Now, even though it was something new and we never hear it on the black radio stations or gospel radio stations, and even though it wasn't a hit, so I'm going to put A Mother's Prayer by Joseph at number 4. Number 3, I'll Always Love My Mama by the Intruders. Now, this was a top 10 hit, and it was a Gamble and Huff song, and that's their slogan. There's a message in our music, there's a message in our song. So get your information from the sounds of communication. And it was playing on all of the black radio stations, especially on Mother's Day, and they'll play it every day. And one time they played at the clubs too. So we'll put The Intruders, I'll Always Love My Mama at number 3. Number 2, Dear Mama by Tupac. Now, this was the first hip hop Mother's Day song, and he wrote that song while he was in prison. This was a story growing up when his mother, in case you may not know, his mother, Afeni Shakur, was a member of the Black Panthers and bore the child in prison. even though the father was left out, gone, and Tupac was hanging out with his guys and everything. He later became a member of the group Digital Underground out in Oakland, California. So then Tupac was on his own. So then he was doing some movies and some other record projects and duets. And yes, Tupac got in trouble with the law and was arrested and charged with sexual assault and criminal assault. So then he was in jail. So by that time, he wrote that song in honor of his mother, even though they didn't get along, especially when you have the absentee fathers. This was something, it was a prayer, a plea. So, as I said, he wrote that song in prison. I saw the music video. You seen Afeni Shakur watching his son on TV doing the music videos, clips from his famous music videos. So that became a top 10 hit. And that was from his LP called Me Against the World. And that album and song was being approved by the National Recording Registry at the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C., for its significant creativity and excellence. So we'll put Dear Mama by Tupac. Rest in peace to Rock and Roll Hall of Fame honoree Tupac Shakur for the class of 2017. And the number one song is called A Song for Mama by Boys to Men. And that was from the movie Soul Food. And yes, and that song became a top 10 hit, written by LA and Babyface. Top 10 hit, played it every day and on Mother's Day. So I'll put A Song for Mama by Boys to Men at number one. Okay, Nikki, do you have one of your favorites?
Yes. Well, you took two of mine. You you took Dear Mama by Tupac, and then and you took a song from Mama by Boyz II Men. So that's cool. Well, one of my favorites, since you've already said those two, one of my favorites is by Earth, Wind, and Fire called Mom. And it talks about how the most valuable lessons or the lessons that you've learned are through your mom by Earth, Wind, and Fire. It's actually a really great song.
Okay, yes.
Yeah. Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Okay. Anything else?
Also like Superwoman by Alicia Keys.
Okay. Yes, letting the audience know it's Alicia Keys' version of Superwoman. Because I am a superwoman. Yes, she is. Yes, she is. Best one of the best with an S on my chest because I'm a superwoman. Yeah, Alicia Keys.
Yes. Exactly. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's the siren. So pay no mind.
um, but yeah, because like I said, you took Dear Mama, you took a song from Mama. Grandma's Hands, that's always one of my favorites as well. And there's a song by Dolly Parton called Coat of Many Colors. It is a beautiful song. It just talks about how her mom gave her this coat of many colors, and it represents the different things, the different like sides of people, and also represents the love that her mom had for her. And it also has some biblical references to it of how Joseph and his coat of many colors that was given to him in the Bible. So it's a cool song, but it's about her mom. It's called Coat of Many Colors.
Okay, well, there we have it. Some of our favorite Mother's Day songs from all of our favorite artists. Well, Nikki, thank you so much for being here on the Black Soul Music Experience podcast. It's been a pleasure talking with you. As we always say, we get those technical difficulties, but we don't give up. And as our mothers always say, if first you don't succeed, try again and never give up.
And thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
Okay, you're welcome. Now, before we go, where can we follow you for any upcoming events? Where can we follow you on social media? And give us a quick plug on your new album, which will be coming out this summer.
All right, so you can follow us at Official Beyond Destiny. That's our Instagram, that's our Facebook, that's our website. You can follow us on Twitter under Nikki Heath Music. TikTok is under Nikki Heath Music. And then you can, our new album is coming out in a couple of months. It's going to be coming out this summer. It's called Believe. And it's a great mix of soul and rock. And we even put in a bonus track of a contemporary Christian gospel song that is currently out called Wanted. It's our newest single that's out now. I think you should definitely go check it out. It's already getting a lot of great airplay. It's getting a lot of great radio play as well as streaming. It just came out recently. It's called Wanted, and it just talks about how we're all wanted and that we all come from royalty and that people should not give up on themselves and that there's always light at the end of the tunnel and that we should always believe in ourselves. So definitely get ready to check out our new album that's coming out called Believe.
Okay, and speaking of Wanted, I already downloaded the song and I have it on my computer, so I'll be playing that. Yes, I do. I really like it. I really do. Okay. Download all of the Mother's Day songs from all your favorite artists that we have talked about on this edition of the Black Soul Music Experience podcast. Visit iTunes.com, Spotify.com, or purchase a CD at Amazon.com. Make sure you follow Nikki Heath. Look for her on Twitter under Nikki Heath Music, and also look for her on TikTok. Make sure you check out the single Wanted. It is available now streaming on iTunes. And make sure you check out the new album called Believe. It will be dropping this summer, 2025. Look for it soon on iTunes. And ladies and gentlemen, if you want to check out this episode, please subscribe by going to the link. The link is riverside.fm/studio/Samuel-Wilson Jr.'s. Don't forget to add the S at the end, -studio. And yes, I will be posting this episode on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. And if you have a hard time getting on to riverside.fm, then please become a member and subscribe to patreon.com/the Black Soul Music Experience podcast. All you need to do is log in to Patreon, put in your email address and your password, go to the Patreon homepage, and check out all of the podcast shows. When you hit on top, make sure you type in the Black Soul Music Experience podcast. And if you have a hard time getting on the Patreon, then make sure you check out all of my episodes of season number 4, which is this season, season 4, on YouTube. Go to youtube.com, go to the homepage, and type in the name of my podcast, the Black Soul Music Experience podcast, and check out all of the video podcast episodes that you may have missed. And if you like this episode, if you like my podcast, please subscribe, support, give me a thumbs up, please leave a comment, and please pass it on. Thank you for joining me as I close out this edition of the Black Soul Music Experience, and happy Mother's Day, everybody. Well, that's about it for this edition of the Black Soul Music Experience podcast. I'm Sam Wilson Jr. Thank you for joining me, and please tune in next week for an all-new episode. The Black Soul Music Experience podcast is sponsored by the support of listeners like you. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe by going to riverside.fm/studio/Samuel-Wilson Jr.'s. studio. And don't forget to check out my audio podcast episodes by becoming a member and subscribe to patreon.com/the Black Soul Music Experience Podcast. And also check out my video podcast episodes by subscribing to youtube.com/the Black Soul Music Experience Podcast. And please leave your comments, feedbacks, and replies by going to my Facebook homepage. Visit facebook.com/the Black Soul Music Experience Podcast. And you can also tweet me on X, aka Twitter, at Sam Wilson Jr. 66. As always, parting, remember this: reach for the top and your dreams will come true, and it can happen to you. From all of us, take care, God bless. Thanks for listening, have a good week, and please be safe.